am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Oh, listen, you hear me, but you can't see me, but you can see me now. That's how excited I was for today's conversation. I had to leave that up for a little bit. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Inspire. I'm so glad to see you. I see you guys coming in all over social media, so thank you for joining us on LinkedIn and joining us on Facebook and on YouTube and Instagram. If you see me looking over there, that's Instagram on my other screen. So hey, Instagram, so good to see all of you. Do me a favor as you are coming in. Do me a favor and share this broadcast this morning. Share with your friends, share with your family, share with your networks. Tell them to come on over and meet Dr. Danie J Buhuro this morning, because I'm excited to be in conversation with my dear sister. If you've just stumbled upon this broadcast this morning, you don't know what this is, who I am. Let me tell you, I am Sue A. Webley. I'm your host. I am an author, an entrepreneur, and an award-winning minister. And Inspire is a live interview style broadcast that is on a mission to encourage, empower, and embolden individuals to create change in their personal lives, their communities, and in the world. And so as our fabulous guests, our entrepreneurs, our influencers, our creatives, and others share their testimonies, tips, and tools with us, we hope that you who are watching right now, you who will catch it in the replay, and you who will listen on in audio only, that you are inspired to elevate your mindset, pursue your dreams, and to do, as the late Dr. Katie Geneva Cannon put it so eloquently, the work your soul must have. We are live right now, again, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and on Instagram. And I want you to do me a favor. I want you to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. Listen, I'm trying to build up Inspire with Sue W on social media. Before it was Cara Solutions, and I thank all of you for following me on Cara Solutions. Cara Solutions still exists, okay? But I am building up the Inspire platform. And so do me a great big favor. Follow me on Facebook and on Instagram and Inspire with Sue W. Also, head over to our website at www.getinspired.live and subscribe to our newsletter. There's things happening coming up that we don't want you to miss. So do us a great big favor. Head over to that website. You can learn all about the show. You can watch previous episodes. You can learn about me. And again, you can subscribe to our newsletter so that you don't miss anything that's coming up. You can also listen later on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Radio, and Spotify. And we're in Inspire with Sue W on all of those platforms. So do me a favor. Let me know. Hey, Elder, good morning. I see you, Elder Boaz. Listen. Come on, Elder Boaz. I love that name, Boaz. Thank you for joining us, Elder Boaz, over there on Instagram. I see you, Phyllis, my dear sister. Good morning to you. Who else is joining us? Living Beyond Limits, Theology Queen, all of y'all on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. Bishop Bonnie Radden, thank you for joining this morning. Let me tell you, I said it last week when I was hanging out with Joy Rohn. If you joined me from the West Coast, I know you love me. because it's early in the morning over there, and I listen. I know on the Midwest too because it's Central Time, so it's early in the morning. So if you join me and you're not on Eastern Standard Time, thank you. I so appreciate you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. That means that you love me, you love the show, and you believe in what I am trying to accomplish with Inspire. Good morning, Carmen. Thank you for joining us. Yes, Elder Boaz said it's early in the morning. So if you have joined me for any amount of time, there's a particular question I ask. I'm always interested in what you are sipping on, right? So, I have coffee in my cup. I have mushroom coffee. If you want to know the name of it, I will inbox you. Just let me know. I'm not going to say the name because, like I said last week, I'm not getting advertising coins. Okay. So, if you want to know what the name of it is, where I got it from, it is mushroom coffee. It is fabulous. And no, it's not rice. Okay. It's not. So, let me take a sip. While I'm taking a sip of this, let me know what you were sipping on and where you're watching from and what you're sipping on, whether it's coffee, tea, juice. Listen, if you got something stronger in your cup, who am I? I'm not judging. Some of us need some strong in the cup earlier in the day than most. Okay. So I'm not judging you. Let me know what you're sipping on. Elder Bowen said fresh iced coffee, but I'll be inbox. Okay, yep. All right. You'll say inbox me later, Elder Boaz. I will certainly tell you where to get this amazing mushroom coffee from. Um, Dr. Renier turned me onto it, and I haven't looked back. It's so good. And it does what it says it's supposed to do. Bishop Bonnie is drinking French vanilla. Listen, I'm transposing these comments. Bishop Bonnie is drinking French vanilla coffee. Thank you, Bishop Bonnie. Thank you, Carmen. Yes, listen, I have she said this red lippy is doing the work. I have a healthy relationship with red lipstick. All right, every shade of red. I have a very healthy, satisfying relationship with. So I love a red lip, and I will rock it. I don't care when and where. I will rock a red lip. Right? I think it goes in my bald head, so I don't know. But I've always loved red lipstick. And so thank you so much, Carmen, for that. Is it Reverend Carmen? Listen, I want to give you. I want to make sure I am honoring you in the way that you should be honored. So if it is Reverend Carmen or Dr. Carmen, let me know. Let me know. Listen, you have a whole red section. Listen. We are kindred spirits. We are kindred spirits. Yes, 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 yes. All right. Yes. So do me a favor again. If you're just joining us, welcome again. Let me know where you're watching from and let me know what you are sipping on this. Well, it is Rev. Okay, Reverend Carmen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I listen. Thank you, Reverend Carmen, for I want to give you. I want listen. People, we earned the title. Okay, it's not about. It really isn't about ego, and so but we earned it, and so listen, and Black women in particular, they love to call us by our first name, don't they, Dr. Danie? So listen, you earned it. I'm gonna call you it. Amen and amen. Before we get ready to go into our conversation with Dr. Danie, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell me what topics you would like Inspire to cover in future episodes. What would you like to hear about? Now, I'm going to preface this to say that there is no topic that is untouchable. So, whatever you want, us to cover, as long as it falls within those lines of encouragement and empowering others to create change, inbox me. Inbox me. You could put it right there in the chat if you want to, or you could also inbox me. What topics would you like us to cover in future episodes? Let me know. Let me know. I want to give you what you want. We would be nothing without you. Inspire would not be here if it were not for you. And so we want to give you what you want and what you need. All right. Pastor Ann, thank you for joining us from Oakland. Listen, Dr. Danie, the people are coming in. They are coming to see you. All right, they're coming to see you. Let us get into this introduction of Dr. Danie J. Buhuro, who's the founder, executive director, and ACP certified educator for Sankofa CPE. And because she got it by, I'm going to read it for you. All right. She is certified by ACPE, the Standard for Spiritual Care Education. She was also board certified in the Association of Professional Chaplains, APC. Reverend Dr. Buhuro is an ordained clergy with ministerial standing in the Illinois Conference, Chicago Metropolitan Association of the United Church of Christ, which is otherwise known as the UCC. Throughout her career, Reverend Dr. Buhuro has served as an ACPE Associate Supervisor and Staff Chaplain at Advocate Illinois Masonic Medical Center in Chicago, Illinois. Additionally, she has served as an ACPE certified educator at Advocate Good Shepherd, South Suburban, Trinity, and Christ Hospitals in Illinois. Reverend Dr. Buhuro's chaplaincy experience includes serving as a chaplain at Mercy Hospital in Chicago, the University of Illinois at Chicago Medical Center, and the University of Chicago Medical Center. Reverend Dr. Buhuro is passionate about issues of race, gender, and sexuality. She is author of Spiritual Care in the Age of Black Lives Matter, examining the spiritual and prophetic needs of African Americans living in a violent America. And I have to pause there because my first introduction to Dr. Danie was when I was in New York Theological Seminary, and for our Black Lives Matter class, that is the book. That is the book that we used. So to know her in person, like to actually know her, is an incredible honor. She is also the author of "Is There a Heaven for a G?" A pastoral care approach to gang violence. Reverend Dr. Buhuro attended Chicago Theological Seminary, where she earned her Master of Divinity and Doctor of Ministry degrees. She is currently working on her PhD studying social media identity, violence, and pastoral theology. Reverend Dr. Buhuro serves on the National Board of Directors of the Association of Clinical Pastoral Education. She also serves as an adjunct faculty teaching DMin and MDiv courses in spiritual care and chaplaincy at United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, Minnesota, along with Eden Theological Seminary in St. Louis, Missouri. She busy, y'all. She busy. Reverend Dr. Buhuro facilitates numerous workshops nationwide on African American pastoral care and African-centered psychology. Her philosophy of education embraces a pedagogy of helping students enhance their pastoral identity and pastoral competence while improving their pastoral reflection. I'm so excited to welcome to Inspire Dr. Danie J. Buhuro.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
Listen, I'm glad that we were able to get this date down. We've been having a conversation about you coming on since the beginning of the year, I think. I don't think it was the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I'm honored. I'm so honored. Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you here. Now, you know what the question is, what you sipping on, sis?
What I can say on Facebook, I have some tea. I'm sipping on some tea. And it's some African herbal tea. I won't give the particular brand because, yes, sponsorships are important, but it is African type of African herbal tea. So I'm excited.
Okay, wait, we want to see that cup. Let me.
This is amazing. This is my amazing Sankofa CPE cup. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes.
Is it the same thing on the back?
Yes.
Oh, yes, I love it. Yes. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You better be Brandon.
Thank you. I'm trying.
Now, here on Inspire, we will give you cup. We give cup. Okay, so if you have a cup,
thank you.
Listen, you have a cup that you want us to show and Inspire. That I will do. Send me your cup.
Okay, I will do that.
I will drink out of it.
I will do that. Thank you. I'm honored. Thank you. I'm honored. Okay.
So listen, Pastor Ann said, "Are those for sale?"
Yes. For sale, yes. I'll make sure you get one, Pastor Ann. Thank you. Yes, most definitely. Thank you. Yes, Reverend Carmen. I'll definitely make sure you get one as well. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's Donna L. Otis. Okay, so I want to make sure I get y'all right. So if you have a title, I don't want to. I'm fine with just Sue, but I want to make sure.
Yeah, that's Reverend. I love Reverend Donna Otis. Reverend Donna Otis is here in Chicago with me, and she runs this amazing pastoral care or spiritual care ministry to sisters who are incarcerated. She organizes a large effort to take their children to the county jail on Saturday mornings. Wow. And have their children visit their incarcerated moms. And so it's an amazing, phenomenal, amazing ministry.
Wow. Yes, well, Reverend Donna, you're gonna get send me your email.
Please. She's at the cutting edge of spiritual care.
Naomi's daughters. Okay.
All right. To incarcerated sisters.
Wonderful. Well, you are the type of person we like to have on the Inspire, Reverend Donna. So thank you for dropping Naomi's daughters. My first daughter's name is Naomi. And so we're gonna have you on the Inspire to talk all about the amazing work that you are doing. So Dr. Danie, the name of your organization is Sankofa CPE. First of all, for those that don't know, what is CPE?
Thank you so much. First of all, let me say thank you so much for this invitation, Reverend Sue, to be on your program. Oh my goodness, I am humbled. I am honored. On Saturday mornings, there are some amazing celebrities that you feature. So I'm just excited to be in the number. I'm excited to have been asked between Dave Tony and Dr. Jamie Edie Chisholm. Oh my goodness, Dr. Renier Amin, I'm honored. Clinical pastoral education is this amazing opportunity for people who want to learn how to be a chaplain in various settings. You need this educational requirement called CPE units, or clinical pastoral education units. Now, the irony is, while I believe everybody in ministry should have a unit, at least one unit of CPE that they have completed. Let me be honest. You really want to know what CPE is, Reverend Sue?
Yes, I do.
Can I be honest on a Saturday
morning?
Please
be honest.
Can I be honest and transparent on a Saturday morning? Can I give the DB translation of what CPE is on a Saturday morning?
Please do.
CPE really teaches you how to be nice to folks. There, I said it. CPE focuses on how to be nice to people. CPE asks you to think about four questions. These are very important questions. If you're joining us today, I'm going to invite you to grab pen and paper in these moments, and I'm going to say some things, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it a little later. CPE invites us to think about, number one, what do we think about God, the divine, Allah, Goddess Oshun, Yahweh, whoever you term as the divine being. Number one, what do you think about God? What does God think about you? Number two, what do you think about yourself? What do you think about yourself? Number three, what do you think about other people? What do you think about other people? And number four, how do you believe other people should be treated? Those four questions is what CPE challenges us, confronts us to reflect on, because we believe, watch this now, we believe what you think about God determines what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself determines what you think about other people. And what you think about other people determines how you believe other people should be treated. Let me say it again. What you think about God determines what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself determines what you think about other people. What you think about other people determines how you believe other people should be treated. Our theology informs our psychology, which then Our psychology informs our sociology, which then our sociology informs our anthropology. And so if I believe that I serve a God who is patriarchal, who is evangelical and conservative, who is white, who is male, who is Christian, and who is heterosexual, then that will determine how I think about myself as a African American, queer, same gender loving Black human being. And then that will determine what I think about other people. And then that will determine how I treat other people. Yeah. And so CPE invites us to reflect on those 4 pivotal questions that I think is not just for folks who want to be chaplains, but it's for all of humanity. I wonder what it would be like if J.D. Vance took a unit of CPE.
Wow.
Can you imagine what it would look like if J.D. Vance took a unit of CPE and was in a CPE group with Tim Walt's son, Gus Waltz? CPE also suggests, from an African-centered perspective, that we learn together in a cohort or group setting. So it's not a matter of simply a student sitting in a classroom with individual learning from a quote-unquote professor or authority. CPE rests on the African principle of Ubuntu, which says we can all learn together. There is no authority that sits at the front of a classroom and has all the answers. We learn from being around a group of people and talking. My first CPE experience was when I was a kid. My mother used to always run CPE groups on Sunday evenings after church when she would invite a bunch of our family over for dinner. That was my first experience of what CPE was all about, because we would get together and we would talk about things that were happening in our lives. Yes, it was my mother, Azzie Wilcox Williams, who taught me all about what it means to be a chaplain. What does it mean to provide spiritual care? What does it mean to do the Ubuntu work of CPE, gathering the family together as a collective and partaking in a shared meal where not only are we eating of substance, but we are also partaking of wisdom and insight from the collective. So wouldn't it be cool if J.D. Vance and Gus Waltz broke bread together in a CPE group? Wow. Think about the transformation that would occur in those moments.
Wow. Thank you for this amazing perspective on CPE. And you touched on it just a little bit, but can you unpack a little bit more how Sankofa CPE is unique in its programming when it comes to CPE education?
CPE is Black. We blackity black. We black. We're Black 365 days a year. We're Black 24/7, which means Sankofa CPE centers the African American experience. Sankofa CPE says we don't do an educational pedagogy that's based on Western civilization's ways of thinking. But we like to lift up our African and African American voices that go overlooked oftentimes. So we come into this experience reading such works as Dr. Shanika Walker Barnes' Too Heavy a Yoke, Black Women and the Burden of Strength, or Sacred Self-Care. We come into this experience lifting up the work of Black psychologists like Dr. Nancy Boyd Franklin or Dr. Naeem Akbar. We come into this space centering the voices of important womanist theologians like Dr. Emily Towns and Dr. Pamela Lightsey. We even say, we center the voice of your grandmother. We want your grandmother to come into the room. Yes, your grandmother may not have went to seminary. Yes, your grandmother may not have had a high school education, but your grandmother's voice still is important. And we want to invite you to put your grandmother on the same pedestal that we put Western civilization, white authors, theologians, and thinkers. My grandmother, Agnes Hayman, sits right next to Karl Barth, for me. My grandmother, Agnes Heyman, sits right next to Dietrich Bonhoeffer. Where would I be? What is the influence of our theological sources if we don't bring our grandfathers into the room? I believe there's so much of a divine disconnect within our internal being because we don't want to bring auntie, uncle, grandma, grandpa, mama, and daddy in the room.
Wow.
We come to a space and place in life where we feel like we've arrived and their voice is no longer meaningful. But I must be honest, at the lowest points of my life, no matter how many good reverend doctors I know a lot of folks that's good reverend doctors. They got MDivs, D-Mins, PhDs. But at the lowest point of my life, I rely on the wisdom and the insight of a praying grandmother. I rely on the wisdom and the insight of a loving grandfather. Those voices we invite to come into the space. And that's what sets Sankofa CPE apart from other CPE centers, from other chaplaincy education institutions.
Thank you so much for sharing that. If you just joined us, I see you still coming in. We are in conversation with the amazing, the wonderful, the fabulous Dr. Danie J. Buhuro, who's the founder, executive director, and ACPE certified educator at Sankofa CPE. We're so happy to be in conversation with her today. And she has instructed you to take notes. So please, I see Pastor Ann is already taking notes. I see that you're tagging people. I see the comments. Do me a favor. Keep posting those comments. If you have questions, specific questions for Dr. Danie, please post them. Make sure that she gets to answer those questions before we end our time together today. Listen, Elder Boaz says that he has his pen and his paper. Pastor Ann is saying the same thing, that she is taking notes, taking this notes, right? Get your pen, get your paper. I see you, Pastor Joyce. Thank you for joining us. Dr. Rainier is with us today. Thank you for joining us. Reverend Dr. Stacey May is here. Good morning. My heart, Quita, is here. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you again for joining us. Do me a favor and share, and share some more. So, Sankofa CPE is blackity black.
Yes.
I love it. And so going back to what I mentioned in your bio, you are also an author, right? So
yes.
You've authored books on critical issues like Black Lives Matter and gang violence. What compelled you to write these, and what impact do you hope that they will continue to have on readers?
I heard a famous womanist theologian say, whatever topic you wish to read, if it does not currently exist, it is because the African ancestors are waiting for you to write it. And I began to grapple with, when we talk about spiritual care or pastoral care or chaplaincy, oftentimes we are missing, what does spiritual care look like now? We talk about spiritual care and pastoral care from the civil rights era, from the period of African enslavement, from the period of unfortunate Jim Crow. But what does pastoral care or spiritual care look like now, where many folks no longer center the Black church as we used to know how it functioned in or during the civil rights movement? What does it mean to reflect on and think about, how does spiritual care show up in our Black Lives Matter movement? How does spiritual care show up in moments where the church is no longer at the helm of everyday living for several people? My hope is that people read my book and read my books and feel inspired to write their own books. That's my hope. My sense of sadness is oftentimes we as a collective have so much wisdom and insight running through our veins, but we don't write it. right? Because we have been taught to lift up the oral tradition, but our scholarship needs to sit in libraries and bookstores right next to their scholarship, right? Because first and foremost, our voices matter, our scholarship matters, our wisdom and insight matters, and the future generation needs to begin to hear our voice. And unfortunately, in this so-called United States of America, and in this space and place of capitalism, published work is still highlighted as the end-all be-all, unfortunately. But the gift in that is that it is time for our stories. It is time for our stories to be formally published and named. Here's what I don't like. I don't like the ways in which many authors steal from us. They steal from our tradition. They steal from our wisdom and insight. They do ethnographical studies on our way of life and our culture, and then they publish those ethnographical studies, and they get the credit for telling our story. The hunter will always tell the story different from how the lion will tell the story. The hunter will always make themselves the winner rather than the lion. And so it's time for us to begin to tell our stories. What is the subject or topic that doesn't exist that James Baldwin is waiting for you to write? What is the subject or topic that doesn't exist that Audre Lorde is waiting for you to write? I want to hope that we feel inspired to write. It's so important for our scholarship, our voice, our wisdom, and our insight to now be placed in published documents. Can I be vulnerable and transparent for a second?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I like to eat. Oh my God. I like to eat. I like to go to restaurants and eat on tables that have white tablecloth. I also like to drink. I love a good communion juice. I love red communion juice. It is delicious. Red communion juice with a nice seafood platter just does something to me, right? My grandmother instilled in me this essence for food and the ways in which sitting down and eating food in community is a form of spiritual care. You get that tomorrow. Yes. Fellowshipping over food is a form of spiritual care for many. But one of the things that I lament is my grandmother never wrote any of her recipes down. She never wrote down how much seasoning goes into her macaroni and cheese. She would just, as many of your grandmothers would do, she would just pour the seasoning salt until my great-great-great-grandmother said that's enough.
Right. Until the ancestors say that's enough.
Until the ancestors said that's enough. So what would it mean for us to begin to document our recipes? The wisdom and insight that we have within us is really a recipe.
Wow.
It's really a recipe. What you talking about? What you talking about that, man? I'm trying not to go into my Baptist. Oh my goodness.
Stop go ahead and go. That's the way you going. Go ahead.
The wisdom and insight that we have within ourselves is a recipe. Just like whenever you want to cook a meal, you would pull out a recipe book, right? Why is it many of our young people today are struggling with suicide, depression, and various forms of mental illness, as August is National Wellness Month? And tomorrow, September 1st, we will begin to celebrate Anti-Suicide Prevention Month. Maybe it's because we don't write the recipes down. And so if we start to write the recipes down, if we start to publish our recipes, then we won't have to worry about our children reading recipes that don't belong to us and internalizing a Eurocentric psychology, theology, sociology, and anthropology. So I believe it's time for us to write our recipes and publish our recipes, not for the benefit of selling a book, but for the benefit of ministry to the future generations.
Yeah.
What's your recipe that is in need of writing today?
Well, it's time to pass the offering plate on that, child, because Dr. Danie is stepping on some of our toes this morning.
It's time to write. I want to empower you. I want to empower you. I want to empower us. I really want to empower us. I really want to empower us. That's all. I just want to empower us. Write. I want to empower us to publish and write our recipes.
Yeah. Then we are going to take a really quick break. I pray that those of you who are coming in, and I know I see you tagging the people. Listen, I pray that this is blessing. It's blessing me this morning, and I pray that it's blessing you. Reverend Donna said, I just said I need to create a writing schedule. Listen.
Come on, Reverend Donna. Yes, Reverend Donna. Yes.
Yeah. We need to write our recipes. Yes, Elder Boaz said, tell your story, write your recipes. Yes, our stories are valid. I think many of us don't write it down because we don't think that they have any impact, any worth, right?
Right.
But they're absolutely necessary. I'm so grateful. Pastor Joyce said she has 2 books in draft.
Oh, that's awesome.
Listen.
Awesome. That's awesome. It's time for us to write. It's time for us to write. Our liberation and our generational liberation and generational healing is in our writing, I believe.
Yes. All right, we're going to take a quick break and come back with more conversation with Dr. Danie. I'm going to invite you again to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We are on Facebook and Instagram. If you haven't already followed me on those accounts, please do that. I'm trying to build numbers up on Inspire with Sue W on Facebook and on Instagram. If you want to follow me on YouTube, you can just look for Cara Solutions LLC. You can follow me there, but really trying again to build up the Inspire platform. You could also head over to our website at www.getinspired.live. There you can find out all about Inspire, about me. You can watch previous episodes of the show and view our guest spotlight, and also subscribe to our newsletter. We don't want you to miss a thing that is happening with Inspire. And so please go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter at our website. You can also listen later on Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and on Spotify. We're Inspire with Sue on all of those platforms. And if you are someone you know who's on a mission to create change while inspiring others to do the same, we want to hear from you, right? We want you or the person that you recommend to join us in a future episode, on a future episode of Inspire. So again, you can head over to our website to book your appearance. You can fill out the intake form right on the website if you are interested in being my guest, being in conversation with me on Inspire. You can do so at the website. And before we get back, I want to put this out there. I will promote this every single Saturday until Pastor Yanni gets a kidney, right? Pastor Yanni is the peace pastor. She is looking for a kidney. She needs a kidney, okay? She's in search of potential donors who are fairly healthy, who have the blood types A or O, and who have the courage to commit to surgery and save her life. And she'd love to share the safety measures with you. To contact her and her family directly, you can email peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. That's peacepeopleinc@gmail.com. Also, you can head over to EmeryLivingDonor.org, EmeryLivingDonor.org. Fill out the survey and enter her name, which is Ayanna Davis. Listen, we are her community. Right? She does not have to do the search by herself. And if you know a resource that would be beneficial to Pastor Yanni, please let us know. But let's do this work together. Let's share the information so that we can help Pastor Yanni get her kidney. Again, thank all of you for joining us. We are going to get back to our conversation with the amazing Dr. Danie J. Buhuro. Welcome back, Dr. Danie.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to still be here.
Amen. Again, if you have a question for Dr. Danie, please post it. I will make sure that she has the opportunity to respond. Oh, okay. So Elder Boaz said, "Can I say I've been saying I want to write, and this has empowered me to do so."
Is this Elder Boaz Parker?
Yes.
My kinsman redeemer, Elder Boaz. Please. Yes. We need your voice, especially your story in particular. Mm-hmm. We need your voice, your story in particular. We know, some of us know your story and things that you have experienced in life. And your story could encourage so many people. So my kinsman redeemer, we need you. We need you. Please. Now is the time. I want to be someone's accountability partner for writing. I want to be some people's writing accountability partner. If you need an accountability partner, you can reach out to me, and we can create a schedule of deadlines for when you will have written so much in your upcoming book. And so wouldn't it be cool if we became accountability partners and said, hey, by such and such a date, have chapter 1 done. By such and such a date, have chapter 2 done. Right? Let's hold each other accountable and be writing accountability partners for people.
Yeah. And so we'll certainly share. Dr. Stacy said that she will reach out to you today.
Come on, Dr. Stacy, my sister. Come on, Dr. Stacy.
And we will share your email address. If that's the address that you want folk to have, we'll share that so that folk can reach out to you directly.
Please,
I've also posted the links for both of your books inside of the chat. Please, y'all, listen, if you don't have these books already, please go ahead and support. Click on those links that I've posted, and so that you can have. Bishop Andrea says, thank you for the inspiration. Sometimes we focus on the doing and don't take time to write it. The knowledge often dies with us. That's
yes.
So don't let it die with you today, y'all.
Yes.
Say that. Don't let it die. Sue, don't let it die with you. Those of you who are watching, don't let it die with you. Thank you for this.
Die with you.
For this today, Dr. Danie.
Yes.
Certainly needed it. What would you say helps to keep you motivated and inspired every day in your work, especially when you are dealing with challenging and complex issues?
What keeps me inspired? A couple of dynamics keep me inspired. There's 4 questions that I ask myself, and I want to invite everyone joining us today to ask themselves these 4 questions. There's 4 questions I ask myself. There's four questions I ask myself. Number 1, what do I love to do? Number 1, what do I love to do? What do you love to do? That's question number 1. What do you love to do? Number 2, what am I good at? What are you good at? Number 1, what do you love to do? Number 2, what are you good at? Number 3, what does the world need? What does the world need? What does the world need? And number 4, how can it be financially beneficial to you? How can what you love to do, what you're good at, and what the world needs, how can this also be beneficial financially to you to create an actual employment opportunity for you? If I like to reflect on those 4 questions. If you can reflect on those 4 questions, you will have accomplished your Ikigai. Ikigai. I-K-I-G-A-I. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it wrong. I-K-I-G-A-I. Ikigai is a Japanese concept meaning reason for being. What keeps me motivated in life is I really believe at this point in my life, I'm living out my Ikigai, my reason for being. I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I'm good at. The world needs what I'm offering. And it is financially supporting me and my family. And so our reason for being is what truly keeps us motivated in life. Let's talk about 4 dynamics. Many of us are doing things we love. It's something that the world needs, and we're getting paid for it, but we're not good at it. That's one dynamic. Many of us are doing what we love, doing what we're good at. We're getting paid for it, but the world don't need it. That's the second dynamic. Let's be honest. Many of us are doing what we love, and we are giving the world what the world needs, and we're good at it, but we're doing it on a volunteer basis. We're not getting any financial remuneration for it. And last but not least, many of us are offering the world something that the world needs. Many of us are getting paid for it. We're good at it. We're good at it, but guess what? We don't love it. We don't love it. Those 4 dynamics are existing with many of us today. We're either not doing what we love. We're either not giving the world what the world needs. We're either not getting paid for it, or we're doing things that we're not even good at. we're not even good at it. And so what has to keep us motivated is divine alignment of all 4 of those dynamics. Divine alignment of all 4 of those dynamics. Are you doing what you love? Combined with, is it what you're good at? Combined with, is it what the world needs? Combined with, are you getting paid for it? This is our reason for being that keeps us motivated in life. If you feel unmotivated, then an important question to reflect on is, am I doing what I love? Am I good at this thing that I'm doing? Does the world actually need it? Am I getting paid for it? Now, here we go. Let's have an honest conversation. What I was good at and what I loved and what the world needed and what I was getting paid for is different from 10 years ago versus now. So our reasons for being shift and change. In 2024, we shouldn't be doing the same thing we were doing in 2014. And that shouldn't be the same thing of what we was doing in 2004. Let me tell you something. I don't even go to people's birthday parties who are doing the same thing every year. If you invite me to your birthday party and it's at the same place and we eating the same thing and I'm not going. I say, no, we got to do something different. We've been doing that same thing for your birthday every year. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not going. So why is it we accept that for our reason for being? Many of us have made our ministry calls a death sentence. Many of us have made our ministry calls a life sentence. We are incarcerated to some of our jobs. We are incarcerated by some of our jobs. Because even though we're getting paid for it, it's not what we love, it's not what we're good at, and the world don't need it. Many of us are incarcerated by just one of our gifts. If it is in fact the case that we serve an African God who is giving us multiple gifts, skills, and talents, why do we only live into one of our gifts for eternity? I know you have multiple gifts. White supremacy teaches us to only think about ideas and concepts in singular monolithic tones and terms. And so oftentimes I get upset because in many of our religious traditions, we ask somebody, what's your call to ministry? But if you have been kissed by the Son, the question is, what's your calls to ministry? What's your calls to ministry? Why is it we embrace a white supremacy mindset that says, oh no, this thing that you were doing in 1979 is the same thing you need to be doing in 1989 and 2009 and 2019 and 2029? No, wrong. And so I said, every 2-3 years, we need to be asking ourselves, hey, what's my reason for being now in 2024? Because my reason for being was different in 2020. My reason for being was different in 2016. And guess what? You might see me now, and my reason for being may be the executive director of Sankofa CPE, but that will look drastically different 10 years from now. Catch me in 2034, and I'm going to be doing something totally different from Sankofa CPE, because our reasons for being shift, grow, shift, change, grow, shift, change, and move. So please don't be incarcerated by just one of your ministry gifts. Okay. Begin to examine the multiple ways in which an African God has kissed your beautiful skin and bestowed upon your mantle multiple ways of being.
Well, you have helped us. I know you've helped me. And I say that you helped me because I have been wrestling with all of the gifts and the areas where I served really well and feeling that maybe I don't want to do certain things anymore, right? But I feel a little guilty about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So it doesn't mean that I'm no longer gifted in that area,
mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
It just really means that it's time to focus on something else, and it is, the lane no longer fits, and it's okay. It's okay, right? What am I needed? What is my purpose right now? I love that. What is my purpose today?
Right? If this wasn't a religious environment, I would give another example, but I see we have a lot of Reverend doctors on the line.
Well, it's my show, so you could give the other example.
Can I give a different type of example to make this a little clearer?
Please.
I want to talk to some people that's not affiliated in the church. I talk to some people that's not affiliated in the church. I used to be in a gang, and I remember my gang leader about 20 years ago. One of the lieutenants I reported to said, "Okay, you're gonna be on the corners serving, but then at some point a year from now you should climb the ranks. A year from now you shouldn't be on the corners anymore. A year from now you shouldn't be the runner. A year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you should have started climbing the ranks." And I was like, "Oh wow, that makes so much sense. 20 years from now, you need to be in this organization involved in a more leadership capacity. You shouldn't be the same one still standing on the corners as the corner boy, still running, making runs. Like, what is wrong with you if you're still doing that after 20 years? Maybe this is not for you." Like, that was the conversations that particular people used to have with me. That was the conversations and the way particular people used to talk to me at another stage of my life. And so coming into ministry, I began to wonder, wow, how do we adopt that same lesson in ministry and say, no, what you were doing 20 years ago should have expanded? How many of us are still serving as corner boys in ministries where we're still on the lower level? We're still functioning as runners in our ministry, doing the
still functioning as the lookout.
Still functioning as the lookout. Come on. Ascribe to something higher. No matter what you're doing, ascribe to something higher. Have some motivation. Have some passion. You shouldn't still be a lookout. You shouldn't still be a... Ask me another question, Reverend Sue. Ask me another question. I'm digressing.
This is good right here.
I'm going someplace else. Ask me another question.
Do we need to have you to come back to go to where you need to go?
Come on. Ask me another question. Come on. At some point, we don't need to be the bottom. Ascribe to a higher standard.
Oh my God. Help us today. Whew. Help us today. Oh man. If you can have any superpower to help you in your work, what would it be and why?
If I could have any superpower to help me in my work, I believe there are some people who already have this superpower. There are many among us who already have this superpower, and I wish I had it. I don't have it, but I wish I did. The superpower to commune and fellowship and receive wisdom and insight from the dearly departed, our ancestors. I have been, at this stage of my life, I've been speaking with mediums, African-centered mediums who connect me with my African ancestors. There's one medium in particular that I've been talking to as of late. Again, I won't say their name because there's no sponsorship happening on your show, Reverend Sue, from this particular person. But a superpower I would love to have is to be able to have this gift that I believe many people have of communing and fellowshipping with our ancestors, to hear the wisdom and the insight from my ancestors. That is an amazing superpower. If heaven had a telephone, I wish I could call my grandmother and talk to my grandmother right now. If heaven had a telephone, I wish I could call my grandfather and talk to my grandfather. That's the superpower that I wish I had.
Thank you for sharing that with us. As we close out, what are your hopes and dreams for your journey, personally and also connected to the work that you do in pastoral care and spiritual education, especially within the African American community?
My hope and dream is that we will be free. Free, not just in a physical liberation sense, but free in mind. Free in mind. I would hope that we become free thinkers in our society today. Something that I learned often from Dr. Keelan Pugh is there's so much psychological bondage. Dr. Keelan Pugh often talks about there's so much psychological bondage that many of us wrestle with and grapple with. And I wish we would become free of the psychological bondage that we find ourselves in. That's my hope. My hope is that we just become free. Danie Hathaway sung this amazing song called "Someday We'll All Be Free." Mm-hmm. And many people take this song to mean freedom in a physical space, freedom from social injustice. But when I listen to the words, I think of him penning an eloquent gospel song with a theological meaning around someday we will all be free from the psychological shackles that have kept us in bondage since African enslavement from 1619 to 1865. I believe sincerely in Dr. Naim Akbar's belief that we need to free ourselves from the psychological barriers that continue to weigh us down. And so my hope is that whatever white supremacy is teaching us that we can't do, be free. Whatever heterosexism is teaching us that we can't do, be free. Yeah. Whatever male patriarchy is teaching us that we can't do, be free. Whatever ageism is teaching us that we can't do, be free. Whatever ableism is teaching us that we can't do, be free. Whatever capitalism tries to teach us that we can't do, be free. Apostle Paul, and I hate Apostle Paul, but I'm going to fix him right here. Apostle Paul says in Romans 12:2, be ye transformed, not by your gospel songs that you sing, not by the preached word, not by your charity and piety to homeless, disenfranchised folks. But one day when Apostle Paul was in his right mind, the one day when Apostle Paul was in his right mind, he said, be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Yes.
Be free. It's time for us to be free. It's time for us to be free. Tomorrow, September 1st, there's only going to be 4 more months left in 2024. And then we will never see 2024 again in our earthly lifetime. What is it that we need to free ourselves from as we move into 2025? It's time to be free. Be free, be free, be free, my beloved. It's time. It's time.
It is time to be free. And Dr. Pugh has joined us. So thank you so much, dear brother, for hanging out with us today. Oh my gosh. I do see your question, Bishop Andrea. I'm going to send that question to Dr. Danie directly so that she could respond to it. Or you could go back into our LinkedIn, Dr. Danie, and you should be able to respond to that question. Unless you have time to respond to it now, because we are over time.
I have time. Can you tell me the question real quick?
Okay. So the question is, what is the superpower that leaders need to cultivate so that we can help our people move up and past us?
The superpower that we as leaders need to cultivate to help others and to help ourselves is that thing we've been putting off, that's been nudging at our heartstrings, that we know we have supposed to been doing, but we keep putting it off. We keep believing that it's not necessary, it's not needed. We keep second guessing ourselves. We keep resting in doubt. That superpower that is already within us, that Harriet Tubman and Malcolm X, James Baldwin and Audre Lorde is calling out, that's the superpower that we need to live out. That dream that is resting within us, that our grandmothers prayed for, yet when we were still in our mother's womb. That is our superpower that we should invite into the space to live into and be. That's our superpower. And so my reflective question to my dear sister is, what is that thing you've been holding on to? What are the words that are getting stuck in your throat because you refuse to speak them aloud? What is that thing that's giving you stomach pains because it's lodged in your gut and you're refusing to do it? So now you've been wrestling with abdominal issues. What is that thing that's causing your ankles and your legs and your feet to swell because you're refusing to walk in that space and place where you're supposed to walk to? That thing, it's stuck in your legs. It's stuck in your feet. People think that you are physically sick because your feet are swollen from holding on to that thing instead of walking in that space and place where you're supposed to be walking. If you start walking there, watch your feet go down. What's that thing that's lodged in your throat? What's that thing that's stuck in your gut? What's that thing that's trapped in your feet? That's where your superpower is.
Dr. Rainier says, what if your freedom is leaving you more isolated?
True freedom is an isolating experience. There, I said it. People who are truly free don't have a lot of people around them. People who are truly free don't have a huge social network. People who are truly free don't have a bunch of celebrity. Be quiet.
No, keep going, please.
People who are truly free often live lonely lives. And so for freedom, how do we also grapple with the road to freedom? May not mean that you continue to have 5,000 Facebook free friends. The road to freedom may mean that you don't have a lot of celebrity. A lot of people may not want to be around you anymore because true freedom comes at a cost. And sometimes that cost is being alone or keeping maybe 3, 4, 5 at the most authentic community members around you. So if you find yourself becoming more isolated, I celebrate you and say, keep up the good work. Because true freedom moves us onto that journey of only having a select few around us. Maybe 3, 4, 5, and that's it. If you are starting to feel isolated, cool. You're doing a wonderful job. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. You rocking and rolling. Stay on the wall. You're doing great. Whom the Son sets free is free indeed.
Well, with that, we are going to end today's program. We can really go on for another hour. But listen, I want to honor your time, Dr. Danie's time, and my time. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Danie, for being here today.
For this invitation.
For speaking life into us today, for inspiring us to do better and be better for ourselves, right? So that we can be more effective in the work that the divine has created us to do. Thank you for the confirmation you've given many of us, for the conviction that you've given many of us today, and those who will watch this later. And I pray,
thank you,
as you move forward in your journey, in your ministry, and doing the work that you must have, that God continues to bless you and continues to be your source and send resources and finances and everything that you need, that may the work of your hands continue to be blessed as you continue to say yes to your call. Thank you so much, Dr. Danie.
I receive it. Thank you. I receive it. Thank you. I receive it. Thank you, Reverend Sue. I receive it. Thank you.
Let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Danie J Buhuro, Danie J Buhuro, Buhuro, Danie J Buhuro. You can also visit my website, Sankofa CPE.com. Sankofa CPE.com. Sankofa CPE.com. Sankofa CPE.com. You can also send me a text message, 773-499-2631. 773-499-2631. 773-499-2631. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And I put Sankofa. I put .org. So I hope
it's either one. Either one.
Okay, good.
.org.com. Either one.
And so the phone number is in there. The website is in there. Please reach out. Dr. Danie has invited you to reach out to her. Elder Boaz wants to talk to you about writing, but doesn't know where to start. So Elder Boaz, please reach out to Dr. Danie and and she will certainly give you what you need. Give you what you need. Thank you again, Dr. Danie. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today, hanging out this morning on Inspire. And I look forward to seeing you next week, Saturday. Until then, I want you to stay lifted. I want you to stay motivated. But most of all, I want you to stay inspired. God bless you. And I'll see you again next week.